Live from Indianapolis, Indiana. Welcome to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show, presented by Scott K. Nichols and State Farm Insurance. And now, here's your hosts, Brandon Reef and Jonathan Birdsong.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Crossroads Sports Radio, episode number 253. I'm your host, Brandon Reef. Be joined momentarily by my co-host, Jonathan Birdsong. Big show this evening. We've got NBA playoffs. The brackets continue to play out. The games continue to play out. Exciting series. The NBA playoffs are continuing. So we've got NBA playoffs to talk tonight. We've got NFL draft. The NFL draft is tomorrow night. So we've got plenty to talk about the draft as well as the Indianapolis Colts. Colts currently have the fourth overall pick in tomorrow night's draft. So we'll talk a little NFL draft, where we see the Indianapolis Colts, as well as your other favorite teams in the league. So we'll join that as well. We also have Danny Bridges joining us tonight around 7:30. We'll be talking racing with him, IndyCar, NASCAR, and more. This weekend, IndyCar is over in Alabama, and then they will be coming back to Indianapolis for the Indy Grand Prix in the month of May at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the Indy 500 at the end of the month. So all that and more, taking your calls as always. My co-host, Jonathan Birdsong. JB, how are you?
Doing just fine, man. Am I coming in crystal clear?
For now, yes.
All right, man. That's good to know, man. Good to know, man. No, man. Glad to be back. Talk a little sports tonight, man. I know I just heard the rundown on the show, man. Where would you like to start?
Yeah, let's dive right into the NBA. Let's talk NBA. Give me 1 second here. I'm bringing up my bracket so I can get a Heat. All right, first off, let's go Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks. Excuse me, the 8th seed Miami Heat lead 3-1. Giannis came back. It didn't matter. Jimmy Butler went out and put a 50 burger on Milwaukee. Tonight, 9:30. By the way, tonight might be one of the best nights of NBA basketball I've seen in a really long time. All 4 games. Just saying. All 4 games I'm looking forward to.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You have the defending champs. I think you picked the Bucks to come out of the East, if not win the title, I believe.
I did.
So
that was without a major injury, but we're looking at a major. I mean, I'm looking at a major injury. But go ahead.
Yeah, Oladipo.
So who else plays tonight?
Oladipo being out. Yeah, that'd be a big one. Well, you've got the Heat and Bucks tonight. You've got the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Knicks lead 3-1 in that series. That's a huge pivotal game. Game 5 in Cleveland. Also tonight, you have at 7:30, which is going to start here in a half hour. I'm going to have to throw it on during our game. The Lakers and John Morant and the Grizzlies. Lakers up 3-1, and I've watched those games, and we'll talk about that. John Morant, what type of draw you're going to get? I saw your post last night, I believe, with Ja. Ja was a no-show in the 4th, and it might have been because I needed him to outscore LeBron for a bet, but he just no-showed there in the 4th quarter the other night. So we've got that one. And then the nightcap this evening, Kings, Warriors, Game 5, 2v2. De'Aaron Fox, game-time decision, but it sounds like he's going to play. So that's going to end your nightcap tonight and then go straight into tomorrow. Only one NBA game tomorrow because of the NFL draft, but that'll be the Celtics and the Hawks in Atlanta. Celtics should have just put the game away. Just put the series away, get rested up for Philly, because that's going to be a brutal series. Instead, they're going to have to play around with Atlanta. Boston will probably win tomorrow night. They can even win Game 7, but you don't want to play around and go to a Game 7 ever. So, but yeah, just let's dive right into it, John. Bucks, Heat. They play tonight at 9:30. Bucks and Heat. Your thoughts? The Heat lead 3-1. No Depot. Another grueling injury, and Giannis came back. Did average, I think he had a double-double in his comeback.
Yeah, it was a game that most of the Bucks led for the most part of the game and even got up double digits in the 3rd quarter. But it's not like it's essentially, man, it's the age-old thing with the NBA, man. They took the foot off the pedal, man, and didn't put the Miami Heat away. And when you leave a little bit of life in a team like the Miami Heat, it was more than just Jimmy Butler. He was just a catalyst, but he was the big part. That I want to make that clear because like they had other complementary parts. You know what I'm saying? A steal here, a block here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That all helps. But like Jimmy Butler, he definitely kept him in it from a scoring perspective. I want to make totally clear about that. So it's a game that has put the Milwaukee Bucks, you know what I'm saying, it's not necessarily something they haven't done before though, Brandon. Like they got to win a game at home, and then like they won 3/4 of the game in Miami. So they're a different team. We know this with or without Giannis. They do have, you know what I'm saying, a good, you know what I'm saying, when you talk about Uncle Drew Holiday and what he can do, and Chris Middleton and what he can do on the basketball court. But, you know what I'm saying, Giannis is the X factor. Giannis is the X, and he's the everything factor for them, not just the X factor. So you can't replicate what Giannis can do. It's a game that they play it, you know what I'm saying, 9 more times, they win 9 more times. But, you know, here we are. They're up back against the wall, man. I got them still going to 7, though, Brandon. I got them forcing it to 7. I know as crazy as that sounds. Like, how could they win 3 straight? If Giannis is out there, they can win 3 straight. That's how good of a team, connected-wise, this group has been put together, right? But they can't have, you know what I'm saying, mental lapses where, you know, they take their foot off the gas and let turnovers or let the crowd, you know what I'm saying, kind of get into it. They played against crowds before.
Well,
man.
what about Jimmy Butler? Somebody's got to guard Butler. He could explode again.
Well, yeah, Jimmy Butler, like I said, Jimmy Butler went wild, man. You have to, but Giannis has to go wild, too. Like I said, Giannis, hey, listen, man, if Giannis is better, it's better than, I know it's crazy. Giannis is best, it's better than Jimmy Butler. So, like, what happens? The third, I get it, man. But if you, again, you can come off injury, like, I get it. But, like, if you out there, he's out there. Like, so I think they'll get the best effort. They won't lose in Milwaukee, right? But I think they force a game 7. I really do. As far as some of these other, you know what I'm saying?
Bucks are 6-11 all time in the playoffs against the Heat. 6-11.
Okay.
Second game.
Here's the thing that, like, man, the longer it goes, though, man, Jimmy Butler's gonna get tired, man. And
everybody's gonna get tired.
Butler,
I think.
Well, no, listen, no. Like, if you pay attention, though, Brandon, like, once he gets like done, like, what else do they have? They have nothing else. They had nothing else in the gas tank.
Yeah.
So
this
series gets extended. This team, the Bucks are going to extend this to 7. Trust me.
Okay. Celtics and Hawks. Celtics lead 3-2. Hawks won last night. 119, 117. Trae Young with the most overrated player in the NBA with his shot to win the game for Atlanta. His celebration, I guess you could celebrate, after that. But, I mean, you're already down 3-1, so you should just, I don't know. Anyways, they didn't have DeJounte Murray because he bumped the referee, so he'll be back for the next game.
Right.
I'm not saying the Celtics are threatened to lose in this series, but you'd have liked to get this series over with and start early against Philly with Joel Embiid's injury.
Right. What turned into what should have been a sweep after game 1. Everybody was claiming a sweep because they're like the Atlanta Hawks. Brandon, there still was time. There were still people in the press talking about how Atlanta's going to have to, you know what I'm saying, have a change of pace in the offseason.
Yeah.
I still think it's 60-40. I still think it's 60-40 on that, whether it's Trae Young kind of stays there or not with the new regime, you know what I'm saying, that they have in Quinn Snyder, head coach. But like, I don't know, Brandon. Like, I get, like, he was just, like, can't you just say he was off game 1 and game 2? And, like, now he's back on, man. Brandon, it's going to get real kooky, man, if this gets extended to 7 games. And I don't know. I don't trust Atlanta. I trust Boston to put away Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, put them to bed. But you're absolutely right. They do not want to. So I'm calling for Boston to win, but I think they do not want to get into a game 7 for what with this team with this inferior team who kind of wants to move on from their all-star.
Yeah. And I'm not sure with the coach for the Celtics. Somebody asked me what team I thought was better last year's Celtics with Ndoku or the new coach, and I had to say the intensity and stuff. I felt like it was last year's team. Also, as the Eastern Conference playoffs go on, I don't know how much you can trust. Still, I don't trust a Jason Tatum. I don't. I'm sorry. He's a superstar player. He went to Duke. I should love him, but there's just something about him. I don't. I think we've talked about it in the past where he's just a little full of himself. I think too much that he hasn't really, because he kind of laid an egg in the finals last year, if you remember.
Him and Jaylen Brown couldn't hold. They couldn't turnover kill them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I liked last year's Celtics team a lot better. Whoever wins that series is going to get the 76ers, John. They swept the Brooklyn Nets, which we all thought would be. Thoughts on Philly as they go into this next round?
Thoughts on Philly? They took care of business. Played a team that's still trying to figure out its identity in Brooklyn. Lot of great pieces, man. If you're a team that needs the power forward, you're thinking about, oh man, I was for a trade. How can we get that piece how can we get Cam Johnson for Brooklyn? If you're a team like the Pacers that's covered in a small forward, you're thinking like, man, what's it gonna take to get Mikal Bridges? You know what I mean? Because, I don't think nobody. The team situation in Brooklyn is always last 4 years. It's been fluid. It's been fluid. Has not. Karis LeVert was one time Brooklyn Nets. You know what I mean? So it's they have players that we already know what happened with Harden and Durant and Kyrie Irving and how many times is oh my God, was he played? Yeah, he's back with him. I can't remember his name right now. Point guard. Got into a little trash conversation. But anyway, point is like, man, Brooklyn's always fluid with their roster. So like, you can't even tell me who's the all-time greatest Brooklyn Net. You know what I mean? Outside of like Jason Kidd, right? But so like that roster's always fluid. I don't know if that is the future roster that they have. Like, I don't know, Brad. You know what I mean? But like, you kind of got to love what Philadelphia did. They took care of business, man. James Harden looked good. Joel Embiid looked good. You know what I mean? Some of the games you was wondering like why Doc Rivers got him in the game because like, dude, like this is well in control. Like you don't need him in here. You know his health issues, right? And their reserve players look good. But again, like I said, they're playing Brooklyn. They're playing a team that doesn't have a superstar. Now you know, they got some great value pieces, great guys that could probably be at some point maybe even all-stars, right? Multi-year all-stars, but like no superstar on that particular team, man. So it was like easy picking for them. It was like a shame if they didn't sweep. You know what I mean? So gone fishing, right, for Brooklyn. They got a bunch of draft picks, you know what I'm saying, in the next 2 seasons. They got to figure it out. They also got to deal, right, with homie Ben Simmons' contract. They got to figure that, you know, or his basketball, if he's going to play or not, if he wants to play, right, they got to figure that out. But, you know, future's bright in Brooklyn if guys want to stay. It's just that, like, right now they didn't have a superstar to go dueling with or Joel Embiid or James Harden. Again, this is good rest for it's good rest, but you know what I'm saying, you kind of want to keep James Harden playing, right? You know what I'm saying? He still looks a little too thick to be a basketball player,
good.
man.
He's good. Slim Harden.
He's
the new Slim Reaper.
We want Slimmer Harden. Right, but he looks good. He played well, you know what I'm saying, in this series. And again, Philadelphia should feel good because Milwaukee is in a flux with Giannis being in and out of the lineup, and Boston is having a struggle putting away the Hawks, man. So they should feel good about their position right now.
New York Knicks, Cleveland Cavaliers, Game 5 is happening right now, tie ball game. How surprised are you that the Knicks are up 3-1? I'm a little surprised.
Very surprised.
But they've played great team ball.
Yeah, very surprised, man. So it wasn't one because they flamed out so hard last season, and we all thought Tibbs was on the hot seat, right, on his way out again from another organization. He's a quality coach, but again, sometimes it's just redundant. People they get tired of hearing the same voice, right? You know what I'm saying? But again, if he got fired, he'd be hired, you know what I'm saying, a split second the next day because he's kind of respected like that in locker rooms and with players. But like, no, I'm surprised, man, because I remember I would call it a blockbuster trade, man. You know, we can hate on Cleveland and that whoever owns, I can't think of his name right now. It doesn't matter. Whoever owns the organization, man, like, he at least takes a swing. He might have a down year, but at least takes a swing. So they put out a team, like he found out that, you know what I'm saying, the aftermath of the Utah blow up between Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert was that, you know what I'm saying, Donovan Mitchell could have went anywhere. Didn't, man, Brandon, do you follow any I know you don't. But you should. Any New York media that pertains like the Knicks, man, they lost their mind because at one point Donovan Mitchell, I guess he had his choice to, like, you know what I'm saying, he could have went to the Knicks in a trade, but he kind of like, nah, you know what I'm saying, he said nah. Right. So he ends up in Cleveland, man. You know the New York fan base love that, man. They ate him up, man. Oh my God, Brandon, they ate him up. Anyway, check for it. I'll send you the video, man. But like, no, man, this is supposed to be somewhat of a super team. You know what I'm saying? Splash team. I won't call it a super team, but a splash team that Cleveland built. You know what I'm saying? You have two great dynamic point guards in Mitchell and Garland, and you had Garland got traded. But you know what I'm talking about. They had two great point guards, and they got some other great pieces. Hell, they let Kevin Love go for nothing. You know what I mean? Superstar rookie.
No, he still plays for him. He still plays for the Cavs. Garland does.
No, okay. I got my guard for Strickland. Strickland, the other guy plays for Utah now. But Kevin Love, they let Kevin Love go for nothing. You know, on waivers. And last year, Kevin Love was flirting with being Sixth Man of the Year. Anyway, man, this was a deep Cleveland Cavaliers team. It won a bunch of games this year. It was supposed to have Donovan Mitchell to be able to turn on the switch. He's turned on the switch, but like sometimes, man, it's only on a dim switch, man. Brandon, it's not all bright, man. It's not. It's, you know what I mean? I question the fit, but they're a great regular season team. But like, man, what the Knicks kind of got their number, man.
Okay. Nuggets and T-Wolves. Nuggets win 4-1.
Yeah.
They finished them off. Joker had a triple-double. So Nuggets are advancing. They're going to take on the Suns, who won 4-1 over the Clippers. Looked like it was going to be a great, fun series. And then, obviously, with Paul George out, and then Kawhi is out. And it was just basically on Westbrook's shoulders, and Devin Booker kind of stepped up his game and just went off like crazy, which shows how Kevin Durant is really a Robin to Devin Booker's Batman. So he's got to ride the coattails of another guy to a championship run.
Hey, Crossroads Sports America, he's shading Kevin Durant again.
Let me ask you this before we talk about the Heat or the Suns and Clippers, the series. John, the Clippers, there's talks if it's time to break them up because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, since they both joined the organization, out of a possible 347 games that the Clippers have played, they have only shared the court 142 games, which is only 40% of the games possible to play. Is it time to break it up? They both get hurt, you know. At least Kawhi. Kawhi always gets hurt. I think it's time to ship Kawhi out. I'd ship Kawhi out of Los Angeles before I would Paul George. How about that?
Interesting.
You got to get something out of it, and you're not getting it as a Clipper organization.
Would there be any takers? Would there be any takers on that? Risk takers.
Phoenix.
Dallas. Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas would, but I don't know if the Clippers want to trade in the West Coast. He'd probably go east, maybe Miami.
Pat Riley. Well, Pat Riley would maybe.
He tried to get him the first time from Toronto.
You know what, Brandon? That's a different conversation. I don't know what the hell is going on. I got notes on Toronto.
Uh-oh.
Like, I don't know. Who knows what's going on there? That's a different conversation, man. As far as what's going on right here, man, like, that's just sad that's happened. Like, Kawhi Leonard, however, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, however you want to, he is a great player
Father
in
time.
the pocket. But unfortunately, man, like, it's not overtime. Like, it's like, man, I can't play tonight. Like, what? It's the playoffs, man. Can you not play tonight, or are you hurt? Or, like, are you, what's going on? That would be my question. Now, if he can't really play because, like, it's so inflamed, like, man, he be risking, like, everything, I get it. And it's about the money and extending, you know what I mean? But, like, damn it, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, the contract's already guaranteed. So, I don't get it. Honestly, after I saw the last injury of Paul George, I thought he would be done. What are you playing for? Hell, he got a damn podcast. He's trying to go against us now, Brandon. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he got his money. Paul George, one thing you can't say he didn't get paid. The Pacers paid him a $125 million contract. And then Oklahoma, the Thunder paid him $19 million contract. Then he got traded to the Clippers, who then get, hey, man, what is he playing for? Going out on top, man. I retweeted Paul George, Pacer, man. Man, you know what, Brandon, he's in the top 10 all-time Pacers. He's a top 10. I can't say top 5, not right now. He's a top 10 Pacer.
Yeah, so is Kawhi.
If you think about some of the moments, you said Kawhi, oh, wow, because Kawhi Leonard should have got Kawhi Leonard should have deficit, right?
Hey, right. Kawhi's only got 1 year left. He's got a player option for $48 million.
You can't, a media member, nor can a coach. I don't even think an organization should ask a player to retire. A player should.
I'll ask you.
Should kind of know that. Damn.
40.
But yeah, man. It looks like
48 mil.
Like you wasting. Yeah, you wasting time, man. Or whoever would want to take that to like micromanage it, so that they can use it in spurts. But that's a lot. That's like $45 million. That's $45 million on your bench.
He's got two. I'm sorry. He's got 3 years left technically. Next year he's making $45 million. The following year he's got a $48 million player option, and then he's unrestricted free agent. I think if you're Los Angeles, you try to find a way to send that somewhere. You got to.
Remember Brandon? You lost your mind when I told you Westbrook was going to get traded, right? Remember?
Yep.
You lost your mind. You're like, no, wait, nah. You're like, no. I'm telling you right now, there's no way you can trade. There's no way. Nobody is trading for Kawhi Leonard's contract. When you throw out the numbers to me like that, nobody trading for that. Maybe Paul George, but nobody trading for Kawhi Leonard.
So, speaking of such, let me bring up Paul George real quick before we have Danny Bridges join us here in the next 6 minutes or so. Paul George, he's making $45 million this coming year, and he'll be at $48 million with a player option the following year as well. They basically have similar contracts, very similar contracts, the two. You don't blow it up completely, get rid of both, but I think, if anything, if you want to continue, you say, hey, we got to make a change to get some people to actually play on the floor, I'd get rid of Kawhi and keep Paul. As crazy as that sounds. 34 years old.
Kawhi got
both the same age.
Yeah, his history shaky. On a but like Brandon, are we talking about a championship team, or are we just talking about like on Orlando Magic for entertainment?
We're talking Los Angeles Clippers trying to get to where they want to get to, and that's deep playoff run.
No, I'm talking about where did they end up at? Like what kind of team?
I think Miami. I think they're a playoff team. I think he gets to a playoff team. I think they would do him the justice to say, listen, it's not working here. Let's trade you to a team that can make the playoffs. We'll do you nice since you did us nice coming here. We'll thank you that way.
Man, they're not low carriers no more though, man. That's what I'm trying to say. They can't carry teams on their back.
Okay, then it's either going to be, I think, Miami. I think New Orleans would be another great spot for them. I think you can even find a place to get to Brooklyn with those draft picks in the salary dump.
Not both of them.
No, just the one. You'd have to get rid of what's his face, Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie.
Yeah, he got soft about his last name.
Dinwiddie with Brooklyn. You gonna come back that way? No.
You know what? Even to get him out of the conference, I can see him shipping him to Chicago. Chicago could send some pieces out there. But I think he'll go to a playoff team. I think they would do him the justice. They wouldn't just ship him to the Magic or to the Hornets / Bobcats and just say, thanks, Kawhi, but your contract's too much. I don't think he's got a no trade clause, but not that I see here.
I don't think so.
But I think as a Clipper, you got to do something. So back to the
the coach is clearly frustrated. He was clearly frustrated.
Yeah.
He didn't have all his rotation of players.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's put a pin in that real quick. The Suns, they advanced. Devin Booker's carrying this team. Of course, because Kevin Durant cannot. They're going to be taking on the Nuggets in the second round. That should be a great series. Should be a really great series. We'll see what kind of player Ayton is against the Joker.
Man, you got Devin Booker versus
Jamal Murray.
I might lose my mind right there.
Aaron Gordon versus whoever. Yeah,
Porter Jr.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be a lot of offense in this game. Joker's going to get tested. You know what I mean? Y'all can book that to be 7 game series right here.
Oh, how do you think that's going 7? Who you liking?
You don't believe in Kevin Durant, man. Again, I think Kevin Durant got a little bit more help in him than Paul George. Well, you know what I'm saying, and Kawhi Leonard, they didn't bandage him up and package him up like they're gonna try to get the best Kevin Durant right now.
Well, they're having to ask more out of Paul George than Durant. Durant's got so many people around him, he can just take nights off and they win.
Not now. Well, man, not now, man. Well, if you talk about Devin Booker, sure. I don't know, Brandon.
John, this Phoenix squad could win the title without him.
Before the trade?
Yep.
Sure, I'll go for that.
With Bridges and Cam Johnson, they would have won the title. They would have been my pick.
They would need some help, like right now. They need right now. Giannis is in jeopardy. Like we don't know what that's going to look like. And the Warriors look good right now. But heck, it took a Herculean effort for them to tie it up with the Sacramento Kings. I still got the Kings. I don't know if the Kings gonna win the series, but the Kings they're gonna push it to 7. That I know. That's gonna get pushed to 7. But man. I think this goes 7. Phoenix and the Denver Nuggets go at 7.
Okay.
I want to see what Joker can do. Joker got to put the icing on the cake one time or something. Yeah, one time.
Okay. Real quick, as we're waiting for Danny, Indiana Pacers, $27 million in cap space. Luxury tax space $55 million, which they won't ever use. They got 12 guys under contract, 5 guys will be free agents: O'Shea Brissett, Kendall Brown, George Hill, James Jones, and Gabe York, restricted two-way. They do still have.
We know ain't coming back.
They do have about 1.7 million in dead cap with Malik Fitz, Jawan Morgan, and Nick Stauskas. They have the 7th, the 26th. Say what?
What? Jawan Morgan from IU?
Yeah, they still have his contract from that trade.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they gotta handle it. So we'll see. Pacers got 7, 26, and 29 in the first round. I don't think they're gonna pick all 3, and we'll highlight that as the season or as the off season continues. Draft lottery, it used to be about this time, and now it's being pushed back all the way to the middle of May before we kind of see where the ping pong balls go. But we've got the Indiana Pacers there. They at least got Miles Turner for another year. I think they're having for at least a couple more. I don't think you sign him just to get rid of him. So if that makes sense there. Other bracket right now, looking at Lakers and Memphis. John, Lakers game getting ready to start here momentarily. I think Memphis wins this one tonight. I think you get the good Ja Morant in this one. Dylan Brooks, man, that dude, he's all talk, man. He has no game out there. Besides the talker that you see like on a rec league over at LA Fitness every evening.
Man, it turned into real cartoonish real fast, man.
Right? Like, it's just.
I mean, you try to respect everybody who tries to do something. You know what I mean? We know this dude he's not as athletically gifted on the basketball court as LeBron James, man. So, but like I thought it was over the top when he called LeBron James old. Damn near, disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Right.
To our senior citizens. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. I've heard worse on the court, but like, he poked the bear, man, and he woke up the Lakers. Not just LeBron, he woke up the Lakers.
Yeah, AD.
But they got I don't know, Brandon. They got a matchup problem, and like that can't be masked. Like the crowd can only get you over so far. And though John Morant is like nobody can touch him and guard him, I get how you looking at it. Like inside, like the Lakers are just bigger than him.
He just goes they're flying in there. Just throws. He's expecting a bailout call every time.
Yeah, he better be careful, man. Because it's like, one, it's not going to happen, and 2, he's going to get hurt. But in a close game, if the Toronto is the fourth quarter, if Memphis is up 10, they'll win. But if it gets close to, like, they let the Lakers snip like a 4 or 5 point lead, the Lakers are the closest out tonight. Because, like, they don't want to send the series either. LeBron, being the ice tubs his damn self. So that there's a potential to that, man. They better blow them out tonight if anything.
Yeah, I honestly think we probably get a pedestrian LeBron James performance tonight. Usually, there's one game where he'll take off or so. I think it'll probably be this one. He's going to try to have AD carry the show, which it won't happen. Austin Reeves probably won't hit his shots tonight. So I think Memphis wins this one decently. Ja somewhat sets up, but I haven't seen anything from Ja or Memphis that shows anything that they belong to a Western Conference Finals or anything at all. I didn't trust them from the start. I don't trust them now. I don't trust Ja. He looks like he takes a ton of plays off, and then when he tries to, he just throws his body in there, and then just like 95% of the NBA players, they just throw their hands in the air. It's like, where's the foul? And then they don't get back on defense, and it's a 3-on-2 layup. So, but I think this is the game of LeBron. Now watch, we'll pull the tape. I think this is the game where LeBron takes it off tonight. Maybe has 12, 9, and 8, and that's taking it off. 12, 9, and 8, almost a triple-double. But we'll see. I have liked Rudy Hachimura, his game with the Lakers, what he's done. That was a huge trade for them to get him at the All-Star break there. And, and the Lakers will go as far as Anthony Davis is healthy, basically. If he's healthy, they have a good chance to go far. If not, then street close it is, and wrap it up. Crypto Center, Crypto Arena, close it down for the year. So, all right. Let's bring our guest on, John. Friend of the program from the Indianapolis Recorder, our auto racing guru, friend of ours, Danny Bridges. Danny, welcome. How are you, sir?
Good evening, gentlemen, and I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good to hear, Danny. It's about that. Well, I mean, it's already that time of year with racing everywhere, but we had a little bit of the itch last week with the open test of Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the Indy cars. What is your first glimpse of that? Because I had people asking me, based off that, who do you think's going to win? I'm like, we're going off an open test. I got to try to pick a winner. But what was your analysis from that first day of testing?
Well, it's impossible to pick a winner this far away from the event. And then really, to be quite frank, I think there's only a third of the field who can win on race day. And in my opinion, has a solid chance to do such, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
There were several guys who were, over 226 miles an hour. And Marcus Ericsson was over 227. But, how much do you have to play by the rules in a test versus actual qualifications in racing? How much boost are you, using? There's a lot of things. I don't think anybody was playing possum, but it was a windy day. What didn't rain at least.
Right.
But, a lot of people appeared to be quick on a practice day. Some of those times were ran when, they didn't have traffic in their way. So I don't think you learn a whole heck of a lot about who's the quickest or who's got the best shot to win a race. But if you look at the season so far, we've had 3 races and 3 different winners. I think there's a good chance that could happen again this Sunday in Alabama when they take the road course there. If that happens, 4 winners in 4 races is a testament to the competitive aspect of IndyCar racing and the number of guys who can get out there on any given day and come home first. It's still the big 4 teams: McLaren, Andretti Autosport, Penske, and Ganassi. But within those teams itself, you've got multiple drivers. So I'd say there's about a third of the field who could be who's going to win the Indianapolis 500, and maybe a couple guys after that. But boy, that's a big number to pick a winner.
Right.
Here, on the 26th of April?
Yeah, I know. I said I felt a lot of pressure when I got asked that. How impressed are you this far in the IndyCar season with last week's winner, Kyle Kirkwood? How he's done? I know he had a rough start there the first week, but coming off last week's win.
Well, he's scary good. That's the 2 words I would think of right off the bat. If you look at his history in racing, in the series that have led up to the IndyCar opportunity that he has, he's been phenomenal. Last year, a lot of people didn't really understand what was going on. Michael Andretti didn't have a car for him, but he had him under contract. So he was conveniently farmed out to AJ Foyt Racing to get repetition. Obviously, the equipment at Foyt Racing isn't that at Andretti Autosport. That's no knock on the legendary AJ Foyt. That's just the reality of the difference of those 2 teams. So he struggled a bit. He did have a 10th place finish in one particular race. He took a lot of lumps, but he also got a lot of laps and got a lot of experience. It's not a surprise to me that he's quick. He dominated at Long Beach, and there's no question about that. He does have a chance to win the Indianapolis 500 because he's that good, and he's got great teammates, and he's on a great team. That would probably surprise me a little bit, but not dramatically. But he's scary good. He's quick. He's aggressive. It's incredible to me how many young guys in IndyCar today that can't buy a bottle of beer, and yet they can still, run a car at 235 miles an hour down the backstretch at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But to your point directly, he's a phenomenal talent. He's only going to get better. And I tell you what, he's the kind of talent to where Michael Andretti will have a big decision to make when his contract expires because he'll be able to command a good salary elsewhere. But phenomenal driver, and certainly a guy to keep a close eye on this weekend in Alabama on a road course for sure.
How shocking is it We got Danny Bridges from Indianapolis Recorder joining us. How shocking is it, Danny, the performance this year of Ed Carpenter Racing and like Renus VK? I mean, who sat on the pole last year for this Alabama race? It just seems like this year it's Ed Carpenter Racing just they haven't had it, you know?
Well, I think ovals are their strong suit, even though VK has distinguished himself on road courses previously. I think Ed Carpenter runs a first-class operation. I do not believe, though, that they're in the same realm of a Ganassi, an Andretti Autosport, obviously Penske, and as well as McLaren. There's a gap there. How do you close that gap? It's R&D. It's having the money and the resources to do the types of things that, to cross every T, dot every I, as far as that's concerned. Ed is always a contender for the pole at Indianapolis. He's had a couple races in his career where he's led some laps. I mean, Connor Daly on that team, I think, led close to 50 laps last year, at least 45. So there's representation there. There's talent there. I don't think from an engineering perspective, from a research and development perspective, that they're where they need to be. But certainly, Renus VK, if he can qualify well in Alabama, because obviously these road courses are tight. That was a track developed for motorcycle racing when it was built. It's just wide enough for an IndyCar race to happen. It's not extremely wide, but track position will be the king. And if you can qualify well and stay up near the front, then you've got a chance to do something when you get down to the last 10 laps or so. But I would be surprised if Carpenter Racing, VK specifically, I wouldn't be surprised if he qualified well. I'd be surprised if he won the race, because it, to me, is the usual suspects on a road course.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty distinct club. But to your point directly, Carpenter Racing is a solid outfit, but there's a gap between them and the top four, as I like to call them, and they're not alone as far as being beneath those guys. But Ed has been a smart owner. He's been conservative, obviously, having Tony George in his corner as a partner and a co-owner of that team is a big plus financially. But they're just not where they need to be from an engineering perspective.
Okay. I got one question. It's a two-parter, and then John, I'll let you hone in here as well. My two-part question, Danny, is what kind of excitement build? I mean, we've got Tony Kanaan getting ready to have his final Indy 500 here. The build-up, the exciting month of May with Tony, but then also, what are we going to miss? Like, I mean, obviously, not everybody. Hopefully, everybody in Indiana watches the Indy 500 or knows of it and everything. But for those that don't, or the charismatic, the character, that Tony Kanaan is, kind of what is we can be missing once he's officially retired and not in the capacity of racing here at Indy, but he'll be back, I'm sure, in some sort of way.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me is a tremendous athlete. At the age of 48, he's in remarkable physical condition. I asked him point blank at Long Beach. I had a chance to just briefly talk to him before the race. I said, "Are you in better shape now than you were 20 years ago?" And he started grinning. Triathlons, distance running, bicycling. He has a regiment that is just unbelievable. Maybe he's not in the best shape of his life, but it's got to be close to it. At age 48, it's remarkable. His charisma, his enthusiasm, his ability to work with sponsors and develop a brand, his impact on fans. He's congenial. He's accessible when he's at the racetrack. Obviously, these guys have to, they have to plan their time, and they only get so many minutes a day to practice, and they have to, they have obligations with their team as far as debriefing and talking about what they did, the changes they made, and what have you. So that limits the amount of time they may have to interact with fans. But he is a phenomenally popular driver. And I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you this. He gets a well-balanced race car and good pit stops, he'll be around at lap 180. And that's where you need to be at that place.
I think he was
After that
third
last pit
year.
stop, you've got it sorted out. You've got your last set of sticker tires. What are we going to do with this thing? And that's when it gets interesting. I will say this. He says, this is it. I'm retiring. If Tony Kanaan was somehow able to pull off his second career victory at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I guarantee you he'll be in that race the year after.
Yeah, he kind of surprised me last year. I mean, not that he did raced well, but, as I look at the end of the race and you look up, like, he finished third? Like, what in the world?
Well, again, a fine team.
Yep.
Ganassi Racing. He's with McLaren now. Again, if you get a well-balanced car with that type of driving experience and you get good pit stops, you're going to be around unless you have a mechanical failure. And if he's around at lap 180, he's going to do one thing. He's going to dice it up. He's going to go for it. He won't be the only guy, but he'll be certainly a guy that you'd have to keep an eye on. And he races clean. He races hard. Again, he's in phenomenal physical condition. I keep harping on that, but people don't understand the impact that an IndyCar has on a driver's body, the G-forces, the stamina that's necessary to even get into one of those things and compete like the way they do. He's an unbelievably talented guy, but he takes such great care of his body, and he's in phenomenal physical condition, and that's a huge plus for him. It wouldn't surprise me if he runs well. I hope that he does, if this is truly the fan farewell. But he's given so much to this sport. How cool would it be to see him win his second race?
Yeah, right. I think that'd be great. I mean, definitely that place would be loud even afterwards, kind of like it was last year for Elio, or 2 years ago.
It would be a very, very popular win.
Yeah, for sure. John?
Man, I just got a couple for Danny. When did Jeff Newgarden pull out his cowboy hat? Has he always had this cowboy hat?
Well, that's part of the trophy celebration in Victory Lane at Texas. You get I think it's a Stetson. It's a pretty nice hat, and then they have the ceremonial pistols that fire blanks and all that good stuff too. But the guy's a heck of a talent. He's distinguished himself at that oval several times now. He's just a remarkable driver. I believe he is the face of Penske Racing, even though you've got Will Power, who is a decorated former champion of the series, as well as an Indianapolis 500 winner. Newgarden is itching to win the Indianapolis 500. So
right, that's last time. Sorry, Danny. Last time you came on here, and I think his name came up as far as winning. You said he was a talent. And, I'm waiting for the talent. I get it, man. He's a good-looking guy, man. He put the cowboy hat on, man. Automatic eyes and ears kind of going. But, when's he going to win? I know he won a race this season. He already won a race.
Well, he's won the series championship before. You got to remember that. So he's accomplished that. He's a well-established commodity. What he doesn't have on his resume is what we've been talking about earlier, an Indianapolis 500 victory. So, if he was able to win this race, and he certainly is one of the strong favorites going into it, that would really cap off a young career. But, this guy could probably be racing well 10, 12, maybe even 15 years from now. There's another guy who keeps himself in pretty good physical condition. But he's got it all going on. He's blonde-headed, blue-eyed, handsome guy, popular with the fans, driving for arguably the greatest team in the history of motorsports. It's not a bad thing to be Joseph Newgarden.
Right. Exactly.
I bet. My second, I miss. So, man, you know what? Rapping with you, man. Obviously, we here at Crossroads Sports, then got more into racing, and we share, we share content. But when you do that with the algorithms that have Twitter and Facebook and and Instagram work, it pulls you into other racing forms of racing, man. So, and I know you appreciate those forms of racing too. So, man, I gotta ask you, man. I know isn't MotoGP. It's on seasonal hiatus right now, right? The motorcycle race.
Right.
It's on seasonal hiatus. So, man,
That's some daredevils there, the MotoGP thing. That is
correct. Right.
I really hated to see that event go away at Indy.
Right, everybody. So when will all that? Well, they had MotoGP out there at one point, did they not?
Sure, I hated to see that leave. It was a phenomenally entertaining event for me to watch in person. It's a distinctive taste in racing. A lot of people would rather watch cars instead of bikes. I like them both.
Right.
So it was incredible to see that the inaugural race, the winner come across the finish line and pop a wheelie doing about 180 miles an hour. I'll never forget that if I live to be 120 years old. I saw that and I thought, but you don't see that every day, a wheelie at 180. And
right.
But that was part of the victory, coming across the line, getting a checkered flag, all that. That's not the first time they've done that, and it wouldn't be the last either. But no, I think we're fortunate to have a facility like we do at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which draws a NASCAR event, which gives us actually 3 IndyCar events a year, if you count the Grand Prix, and then of course they'll be back on the road course as a doubleheader aspect with NASCAR later in the year, and of course the 500. So I don't know. The racing bug for me is self-explanatory. I think people who go out to the Motor Speedway, if they go out there with an open mind, that there's all kinds of disciplines of racing coming through in there. I like NASCAR racing on a road course. That's not the greatest road course in the world out there, but you do find out who can shift, who can drive, who can brake, and who can sling those heavy cars, into the turns and make them go. But, they'll probably go back to an oval event out there eventually. I think they will. I think it's their tradition. But no, there's not much racing that I don't really go for. I'm not a huge drag race fan for whatever reason, but I'll watch a sprint car, a midget car, a NASCAR, an Indy car, a Formula One car. I'll watch a bike race. There's not much I don't enjoy about the different disciplines, that's for sure.
Well, what's preventing? There's no Formula One race currently running at the Motor Speedway, correct?
No, that dissolved when the sanctioning fee became more of a burden than a business opportunity.
So
Formula One has.
Go ahead. No,
Formula One has branched out in America now to where they've got 3 races in America with the Miami race, with the race at Austin, and this new race they're going to have at Las Vegas, which I assure you will be the biggest, most glittery thing that they've ever done in the United States. It's going to be an unbelievable spectacle. And I think IndyCar has to be a little concerned that F1 now has 3 profitable, interesting races in the United States. That doesn't diminish the value of the Indianapolis 500, but I'm talking about the overall series of IndyCar. You have to be a little concerned about them coming over here and staging events, not just races, but events that are extremely well planned, extremely well attended, a lot of celebrities, a lot of glitz, a lot of buzz. There'll be a lot of social media surrounding that Las Vegas race this year, but you've got Miami again, and of course you've got the Circuit of the Americas at Austin, Texas, which is a phenomenal racing facility. So there's plenty of appetite for Formula One in the United States, as there is globally, and they know how to put on an event. They really do. They don't spare expense, and they know how to make it shine. They really do. And racing at night, like they're going to do at Vegas, will be a unbelievable spectacle, I assure you.
I totally agree. Me and Brandon worked for Best Buy 100,000 years ago, and I think that's the last time the Formula One. It was on the west side of town, and we had a bunch of Formula One peak guys come up in there, and they bought everything because taxes where they're from are totally different than taxes here. So the limit 3 on a cell phone wasn't no problem for them. So we live it like that. It ain't no big deal. Everybody knows race for Best Buy. But
I hate the fact.
Go ahead.
No, I hate the fact that Formula One is gone from Indianapolis. I don't believe it will ever return because these other venues that we just discussed are so much larger and so much glitzier, for lack of a better term, especially Vegas and Miami. Formula One had their problems here. Obviously, the tire debacle, they had that going and working against them. And you know, when you pull into town and the series is wrapped up already and Schumacher's got the title in the bag, that kind of takes you out of the balloon too. A controversial finish out there where his teammate pulled over and allowed Schumacher to score extra points in the 1 year when they were still in the title hunt. So Formula One, I think, has ran its course at Indianapolis. Could Roger Penske stage a Formula One race? Absolutely. He's got the resources financially and otherwise. But I don't believe that the Indianapolis venue can offer the presentation, the glitz, the glamour, and the buzz that a Las Vegas street race, a Miami street race, or for that matter, even at the Austin, Texas can. So can they live together in the same quandaries of North America? Absolutely. But I still believe that the IndyCar Series has to work really hard when they're away from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They've got events that draw well. A key word is an event, and that would be looking at Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, looking at Mid-Ohio in Lexington, Ohio, looking at Long Beach Grand Prix, which is a staple on their schedule. Thing about those events, they're just that. They're events. There's 3 days, and people come out and they party and they watch the race and they spend money at restaurants and with vendors and what have you. Everybody makes money in those events. It's the other tracks that they go to that are more of a concern to me. I think if you get 20,000 people at one of these other races that I'm talking about that aren't Long Beach, Mid-Ohio, Elkhart Lake, then you've got a pretty good day on your hands. But at Long Beach, they drew 192,000 people over a 3-day period of time. That's a phenomenal turnout. And the weather was nice, and the vibe is great. You're by the beach. You've got plenty to eat. There's plenty to drink, vendors, live bands. It's a party.
Brandon, you got to get there.
Oh, I've been to I went to one of the ones back here in when they were here back in 2004. It wasn't like it was now, but I'd like to. It's pretty penny. But yeah, it's funny we're talking Formula One because just the other night I got on YouTube. I get down YouTube wormholes, and I love watching documentaries and stuff. And I watched this documentary somebody made over the big tire fiasco, and everybody went on their warm-up lap, and then everybody but 6 drivers basically 6 drivers went to the grid. Everybody else parked it. Just watching that, I wish ESPN would do a 30 for 30 on that because I think it would be great to talk to everybody now.
Yeah, that was a very dark moment for Formula One, and unfortunately a very dark moment for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But speaking of documentaries, tomorrow night on the CW network, you can see the debut of 100 Days to Indy. It's a documentary that covers the races that lead up to the Indianapolis 500, which in this case would be St. Petersburg, Texas, Long Beach, and then eventually Alabama. And I know a lot of time and money has been put into this. That's tomorrow night is the debut of that. I think it's 7:30, 8 o'clock. I do know it's on CW for the record. And I think you're going to find an interesting look at IndyCar. I know for a fact I saw some of those guys working at the races, the documentary team, and you know the equipment is high tech. They know how to film, they know how to edit, they know how to interview people, and so I think it's going to be a good watch tomorrow night. And I would recommend anybody who's even a closet Indy fan to take a look at that again tomorrow night on the CW, and it's entitled 100 Days to Indy.
Yeah, looks great. It looks like I'm looking at their IndyCar's Twitter account right now. 9 p.m. Tomorrow night.
Okay.
It'll be about the time the Colts are making their pick in the draft. But I'm going to tune into it. CW, you can download the app and you can stream it from there if you don't get the channels for there, but you'll be able to stream it through there. Last one I have.
I got to figure out where CW is on my dish. I have no idea, but I'll find it. I've got 24 hours to find it.
I was stupid enough to download the app to watch a live golf event, and then I've only watched it one day, and that was it. So I will be busting it back out for this documentary.
Why not? Why not?
My last question, then we'll go to John. We are 24 hours away from the NFL draft. Jim Irsay, Chris Ballard, Shane Steichen. Whose name's getting called at pick number 4 for Indianapolis? I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, obviously, what happens in front of them is going to dictate a bit. It's going to be a quarterback. It has to be a quarterback. You know, there are people who are starting to think that Carolina may be interested in Will Levis from Kentucky. If that was to happen, this is all hypothetical, but if that was to happen, that guarantees the fact that, in my book, that either C.J. Stroud, or Bryce Young would be available. Now, Bryce would go, I would think, number 2 to Houston. But I don't think the Cardinals are looking for a quarterback, considering the amount of money they've got invested in Murray. So the Colts are going to have to make a choice at that point on who may be left. Richardson is a raw, talented, phenomenal athlete. He may end up being a phenomenal NFL quarterback. That's a bit of a roll of the dice. You don't know. Small sample size at Florida, but phenomenal athlete. And obviously Levis, big arm. C.J. Stroud is a talented passer. I still say Ohio State beats Georgia in the college football playoffs if Marvin Harrison Jr. hadn't gotten a concussion. But those are things in the rearview mirror. But I can't. I mean, Stroud just played so calmly and so well down the stretch for Ohio State. He may be their guy, but I'll take that a step further. I still feel on opening day for the Indianapolis Colts that Gardner Minshew is going to be their starting quarterback. I think they're going to allow the rookie to come in slowly. He knows the system. He knows how to get the ball out of his hands quickly. They've got a running game with Jonathan Taylor. They need some more weapons on the wideout area and at the tight end as well. And obviously the Colts have holes on their offensive line. I mean, they've got a lot of needs. So the draft is not just about who the quarterback's going to be, even though that is the cornerstone. But a lot of people think I'm crazy to say that. I don't think he's just an insurance policy. I think he's the guy who starts opening day for them. But I don't necessarily think that's necessarily a long-term commitment. And I think it will be Stroud or Richardson, and I think it'll be one of those two. You know, they're going to get playing time. And why not? Why not designate a young player as your guy? And no matter how poorly he may play, keep sending him out there. You don't want to get him injured, but you keep sending him out there for more repetition, more confidence, and hopefully that transcends into him becoming an NFL quarterback much sooner than later.
Okay. John, anything else?
No, I can't refute anything that he said about what the Colts are going to do tomorrow. Before we let Danny go, Danny wrote a piece for the Indy Recorder, I do believe it was last week, about NIL. I kind of want to get his thought. I kind of want him to share his thoughts on NIL. Here at Crossroads Sports, we're pretty much pro NIL. I think, Danny, from my lens, the schools want it to be separate from anything that looks like the NBA or the NFL. But that's what it kind of is like merging into.
My main concern is the transfer portal. I mean, the NIL thing will take care of itself if you're a good player. I look at, just for example, because it's local, I look at Purdue and IU, and it's two different polar opposites currently in the NIL aspect. Purdue's got, a dominant big man, and there are those who think he's getting paid quite a bit of money up there already. I'm not so certain.
Right.
I don't see him, of course, with apparel companies and rich, alumni, anything could be possible. But I think he's going to test the waters of pro basketball. But even if he didn't, my biggest concern about the transfer portal / NIL is let the players have the same opportunity the coaches do. A coach can pick up on a whim. If you're a marquee coach at a marquee program, there's a buyout. But if the new employer wants you bad enough, they can and they will pay that buyout. Right. Players need to have similar options to be able to pick up and go. That's why I approve of the transfer portal. Yeah, it turns things upside down. But scholarships, other than for blue chip players, are always year to year anyway. No one gets a 4-year ride. I love that term. I got a 4-year ride. No, you did. You got 4 1-year opportunities. And if you don't play well that first year, you may not have a scholarship the second year, depending upon the composition of the team overall. Matt Painter gave a very candid interview with JMV recently on 107.5, First of all, I think Matt Painter is an excellent basketball coach. I think he's a good man. I think he's a man of character and integrity. I think his message about frustration with the transfer portal was twofold. Number one, yeah, I got to start over in certain positions now as far as recruitment's concerned. And number two, I think he does have some concern for student athletes who might be making the wrong decision to put themselves in the transfer portal as opposed to staying at this case Purdue. But it's a sticky wicket, but it's here. It has to be dealt with. It's part of the recruitment process. It's separate from traditional recruiting. But if you're not active and successful in the transfer portal, you are behind the eight ball big time. And it's just part of the way that the game has changed. I just want to see players have the same ability to get up and go just like a coach can do. That's all I'm looking for in that regard. And so that's why I thought it was hypocritical for certain coaches to point the finger at players like, oh, he's making a mistake, or, hey, I didn't know this was happening. I didn't know he wasn't happy. If a guy is a blue chip high school player, he doesn't play a lot his freshman year, he's not going to be happy. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to automatically go into the portal, but that's a way of moving the pieces around on the chessboard for the player, and I like that part of it. As far as NIL is concerned, there's plenty of money out there. If you're a good player, you're going to get paid some. If you're a great player, you're going to get paid a lot. I have no problem with that. But I will say that it's changed the dynamic of the game in terms of, you can buy a player in a recruitment process. If you can guarantee a player he's going to get $600,000 his freshman year, and you make it clear that the money is there, that's a strong consideration for a young man who might come from an impoverished background, who comes from a family who may be living in poverty. Even if you're in a home where you're financially secure, that's still a staggering amount of money for an 18-year-old. Now, that's the exception to the rule, but still it exists. So I just felt certain coaches were being ridiculously overbearing about the transfer portal, and it's a part of the game, and it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get more hectic, and for those who can navigate it, they're going to have a leg up on their competition.
Beautiful. Well, Danny, as always, thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll be sure to follow you.
Certainly.
Follow you on Facebook and all those social media channels as we get the IndyCar season continuing, as well as we ramp up here in the month of May. Tune in tomorrow night, the 100 Days to Indy documentary starts on the CW, so we'll watch that as well, and we'll get you on as we get closer, about a week so out from the 500. We'll get your thoughts on kind of what you've seen and what you like so far.
Let's do that, and remember that IndyCar is also live this Sunday from Leeds, Alabama, and that's a road course. It'll be entertaining. How you qualify dictates a lot about how you race there in terms of track position. From a podium perspective, I like a combination of, I'm going to say Scott Dixon, Alex Palou, and just to make things interesting, another appearance by Marcus Ericsson. So there you have it.
Beautiful. Thanks, Danny. We'll see you soon.
Always good. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Danny Bridges,
Indianapolis Recorder. JB, come on, man. You can't be asking. We're professional journalism now. We can't be asking about a cowboy hat, man. You gotta know that's a trick for a race. That's a prop.
No, man. I wasn't comparing him to like some new jack or like some rookie, but like he's been around enough. I feel like he's been around. Tony Kanaan probably gonna win the race, Brandon.
No.
This is his last race, ain't it?
Yeah, but doesn't mean you win it. Doesn't mean you win it. I mean, he has a shot, but
he's gonna race.
They only have 3 rookies this year, so everybody's. There's only three or four rookies in the league, so everybody's like mainstay.
Y'all think I wasn't picking on Joseph Newsgarden, man. I'm ready. I'm wanting to know when is he gonna get the big one.
Well, I hope it's soon because I keep betting on him every year for the Indy 500 and just put a little bit on him and whatever. I got somebody you can make fun of. We're gonna bring him on. It's your long lost cousin, Daryl Sykes. Daryl Sykes, what's going on?
Really? We doing this tonight. You know what?
He's free.
Listen. Hey, no. This is me. This is Scott. This is not Randy.
Oh, what's going on, man?
You know what? Hey, Brandon, I don't like you. Jonathan, don't listen to this dude. Hey, listen. I love that's good. I like it. That was so talented.
I got you.
Hey, listen. I want to talk two things, right? Because I wasn't going to speak about NIL until before me was talking about NIL. And I don't know who he is, but, man, I like the fact that he spoke about, hey, if these coaches can move, and I've talked about that incessantly, why can't a player pick up? And also he spoke about the one-year scholarship. Most folks don't know that. And they just say, well, he's got a four-year ride. It's okay. What's the big deal? They don't understand that. And so I like the fact that you all had him on and he spoke about it. That was a good thing. So big thumbs up there. But Jonathan, you posted on Twitter, man, everybody's losing players. And you're right. They want to see Deion fail. They want to see him fail because he's rambunctious, he's loud, and all those things. But I'm telling you, right now is the time for NIL to make that's making a difference, and there are no more dynasties. Yes, that's
well, I really want people.
Over.
I really want people to be realistic about Deion going there first year. He might lose 3 games, and that's okay.
You mean win? You mean win?
You're taking over a Power 5 program. You're taking over a Power 5 program. They're still in the Pac-12. However you feel about that, you know what I'm saying? They gotta beat Washington. They should stop California. They should. You know what I'm saying? But they still gotta beat. They still gotta play USC. They still gotta play Oregon. Come on, man. It ain't gonna just be like, you know what I'm saying, just run them over, man. So he get out there and evaluate and says, hey, man, you know what? But it's Deion Sanders, so everything is amplified. Correct. But like it doesn't. But like he's no more louder than Nick Saban or more of a.
Hey, listen. Hey, stop throwing Nick Saban out here because it's me on the phone here, right? So he is beyond Nick Saban because Nick Saban brought it because of what he did on the field, right? As a coach, not as a player, but as a coach. Deion's getting the cachet because of what he did on the field, tied in a little bit of Jackson State, a little bit of extra, but let's see what happens in Colorado. We talk about he could blow out Cal. I'm telling you now, he lost 42 players. He's brought in 28. I'm calling it right now. 4 wins for Colorado this coming season. 4, not 8. 4. Wow. F-O-E. 4.
I don't hate it.
I'm telling you. That's a 3-win. Johnson, that's a 3-win lift from last season. What are you talking about?
I'm just concerned. Well, here's what I'll say, and I'll let Brandon go. I'm not concerned about the deep pocket that the Colorado faithful have because they have them. They just don't want to put the money on everything just yet, right? Here's what I'll say.
Jonathan, why is that?
Because they gotta see it on the field first.
So in other words, they don't trust them just yet. For all the extra, they don't trust them just yet, is what you just said.
It's a winnable.
Mark the tape, Brandon. Mark the tape.
I said 3 losses. I'm marking the tape. I said
3 losses.
3 losses or 3 wins. What do you think? 3 losses or 3 wins?
3 losses. You got to respect the Pac-12 a little more than that, John.
John.
My biggest concern. Y'all won't let me get to my concern. My biggest concern is not the defense, not necessarily running the ball. My biggest concern is like, dude, you just leapfrog from. And it's ain't nothing against HBCUs, but like you leapfrog mid-major all the way up to a Power 5. Do you think, you know what I'm saying, his quarterback room is super solid to compete? I ain't saying his son. I'm just saying the room. You got to have a room. If you're a college football program, you got to have a quarterback room that's ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you.
Just because you transfer players from Jackson State.
Get him, Brandon.
Just because you transfer players in from Jackson State, they're still D2. They're the 1AA level players. They don't come up and just say, hey, since you come here, guess what? You're a D1 player now. You're a Pac-12 top Power 5 conference player. Get out of here. They ain't gonna be they get no more than I'm gonna say no more than 5 wins. They may make a bowl game.
But Brandon, hey, mark the tape again. Brandon and Kyle agreed on something.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have some fun with this, man.
Deion may even get suspended for a game. He may just I'm not saying anything he's gonna he may be suspended for one game for something stupid. I can see it happening.
Are we talking about Colorado or y'all talking about IU? Y'all sound like
we're talking college. Hey, Jonathan, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, Jonathan. So let's do this. We're early on in the process. Let's get a date. Let's go live. Let's have some fun with it. Colorado, UCLA. Let's make it happen. You got the Ball State connection from Ball State.
You got Colorado, UCLA.
What do you say?
Come on, man.
Can we say it?
Here's a better
No. Let's talk about it because Jonathan, there's a connection. You're talking the Ball State connection with the coaching staff. You're talking Deion.
You're right.
Come on, man.
If you can't beat UCLA, you ain't gonna be able to beat USC or anybody else. So yeah, you gotta beat UCLA.
No. I'm just saying from an effect. I think Brandon agrees with that. Let's do it. You all make the date, make it happen. Let's make it happen.
I'm fine with it.
I don't want to go. I don't want to hold the show for that, right? But I do want to talk my Pacers, right? I want to talk my Pacers, of course, right? So I've got clarification. May 16th, we're on, fellas.
May 16th.
Lottery party. We're on. Lottery party. Yes, sir.
You trying to bring the United World Hen Tag Team Champions on to the Crossroads Sports Show?
Hey, yes, sir. Listen. That was my third thing.
Is you listening to the show?
Listen. Brandon, I'm not sure if he's listening. Hey, listen, man.
Brandon, the last time I was in Delaware Valley, they told me don't drink the water.
Let the man talk, JB. Let the man talk.
Listen. Hey, Brandon, he's acting like Reggie, right? So listen, I had no idea when I interviewed him that he was a guy, right? So we started talking small talk, and that's when it came up. But we've got a table. It's the 12th and the 13th of May. It's $20 table. All matches are cage matches, by the way. All matches are cage matches.
Listen,
I can talk. Yes, sir. I understand that. Listen, that's near Ball State. Stop it. Hey, Johnson, stop it. That's near Ball State. Stop it.
He doesn't get out of that 465 loop.
They got it. Hey, back in the day, we had hey, man. It's co-headlined by Bobo Brazil Jr.
Yes, you remember? Hey, that's what was his name when he was here? Calypso Jim. So,
man, I'm afraid for that jacket he had on that flyer.
Hey, listen, I know a little bit too, as we talked about, right? So I can get him on the call. I can get him anytime you all want. Let me know when you want him. Hey, it's Mud Slap.
Where's that show?
Right?
Listen, I ain't going to the show, man. I had to get. I won't even get an Uber there.
Man, come on,
I'm telling you, man, he doesn't go outside 465.
Right? Oh Lord, have
they got a YouTube
you know what I do?
Brandon,
here's what I tell him we're gonna go hang out for a while, and I just kidnapped him, right? Mm-hmm. But I want him on the show. So because we talk about that.
We're getting him on, man.
That circuit,
what are they? They the Mud Hen Tag Team Champions.
The what?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Mud Hen.
Yeah, man.
I'm being
disrespectful. Mud Slap. It's Mud Slap something.
This
right?
ain't mud wrestling, is it?
So that
oh
you.
My God.
So here's the other thing. Jonathan, we were tight, man. Jonathan, we were tight until this call. Listen, Brandon and I are supposed to argue, not you and I.
No, man.
I absolutely. Here's the other thing. I want to hire.
Brandon, he want to talk about Deion's spring game. Let's talk about Alabama's spring game.
I want to talk about Alabama. Wait. I want to talk about Alabama. Why are they having to go? Why are they all up in arms about getting a transfer quarterback from Notre Dame? That's not what Alabama does.
He's not going to be there. He's not going to be. Jalen's better than him. He's not going to. This is just optics, right? This is Nick Saban
hope.
motivating his guys, right?
I hope.
So with that said, so
It's spinning now, Brandon. He's spinning.
Listen. Nick called me yesterday and we talked about it. So I got you. It's all good. No worries. The other thing, you guys, I can't stand you guys. So the other thing is, I want to hype my Pacers up, right? We're talking May 16th. We're talking about 3 weeks away. I want to get my ticket guy on so he can talk about what's going on with the back nine, what's going on in the summer, the draft day party, the amenities that are going to be outside of Bankers Life. Oh, wow. Yes, I said Bankers Life, not Gamebridge or whatever the case may be. I want to get my guy Dennis on too, because there's a lot of good stuff going on in our city, and especially around Bankers Life that's going on with regard to the stadium, the amenities. What's going on for next year? Remember, All-Star game, right? I'm not going to be there, but that's coming up too. So what do you guys say? I got 2 guys I want to get on the show. You tell me, who do you think we should get first?
We have to. We can't do it right now on the air, but
no. I'm talking about in the next.
You got producer DK here just wanting to put his dudes on.
I'm just saying, hey, those are my guys, man. You know what, Brandon?
We already did the Mudhead Tag Team Championship.
The Mud Wrestling out of Muncie.
See, you know what? I come
Delaware County.
I'm trying to bring some quality to the show. I'm ignoring Reggie. I got in all facets, and you all go sit there and clown me.
He said Mud Wrestling. All right, DK.
I can give you guys. Listen. I know the show we're wrapping up, but I'll message you guys as of what we've got. But I'm telling you, cool. I'm gonna bring some love to the show, to the Mud Flap Tag Team Champions. And oh, by the way, if I get a chance to go, no, Calypso Jim, stop it. So anyway, to that point, I'll go.
You're on the flyer, man.
I know, but it's because you guys remember Calypso Jim?
Who's he supposed to be? Harry Belafonte?
That's it. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go live. And I'll let you guys know.
All right,
Brandon. Thank you, Brandon, for disrespecting. Be safe, fellas. I'll be in your inboxes to let you all know what's going on.
Sounds good.
Wild.
See you, DK.
This is wild.
Love
man.
you guys. Be safe.
Yep.
Oh, Mud Wrestling, Mud
This
Hens.
is wild, man.
He wants to bring everybody.
You want
to bring your neighbor on?
His what?
I said, do you want to bring your neighbor on next?
Hey, man, why not?
Hey, Mike Kelly, before we go, if you want to call back in real quick, you can. I saw you on hold, my man. If you want to call back in before we go, you can. Up to you. If not, we get about 9 minutes left of the show. 2 things, John, real quick. Warriors, Kings. We didn't get. That was the last one we didn't get to. 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
Kings under. The Kings have to get this one. But I think I like everybody's on the Warriors on tonight's game, but DeMontis has kind of digressed as this series has gone on. They've guarded him pretty well, but I think I said the Warriors to win the NBA title was my pick when the playoffs started, so I'm going to have to stick with it.
Yeah, especially with De'Aaron Fox hand not being 100% or him not even – we don't even need to know he's going to play. I assume he's going to play, but he's not 100%. They would take a tremendous effort. And I think they'll get that out of DeMontis Sabonis. And I think they'll get that if he's on the floor out of De'Aaron Fox. But, that's a lot to overcome. Now, I said in the first hour of Crossroads Sports, man, that I think the Kings extend this series, so I got to win this game. But I don't necessarily think that that they win this series, man, because Draymond Green and company, man, they flip the switch. They know how to flip the switch, and they know they can win on the Kings home court. So, but I think the Kings get a victory, at least one more.
Okay. Triple H introduced the WWE World Heavyweight title.
Oh my goodness!
I kind of like the design of it. I like the fact that they're bringing it back. And now there's people bitching saying it's a second tier title. which is not the case.
Ooh.
I like the introduction of this one and the look of this one more than I liked the Universal one, and the Universal one grew on me. So I'm okay with it. I'm at least glad they're seeing there needs to be a champion on every week. There has to be.
No, there should be a champion on every week. Anytime the show is on, the champion should be on either in like a pre-recorded promo or come out there live, preferably live, right? But no, you're absolutely right, man. I don't put too much cachet in the look of the championship belt. I put a lot more cachet in like who's the champion and like what direction is the show going and how, and you know what I'm saying, how that all kind of plays out, man. But it looks cool, man. Like, what do they do all day, man? It's like, hey, man, what can we do to spice up the show? What can we do? Let's bring out another belt. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It caused a little stir. It's good.
What was your thoughts on CM Punk being in the building and then McMahon having to ask him to leave because he was under contract with AEW still?
Dude, I mean, from being a guy to guy, CM Punk's weird. Like, he's too unpredictable, man. And, like, I get it. Like, it'd be one thing if it was a shtick, and I know at some point, man, the camera's going to come on, and then he's going to lose his shit because that's what he paid him to do. But, like, if he's losing his shit when we just at the discussion table, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, when the camera come open, like, yeah, we expect live camera action, but, like, when we at the discussion table, man, but, like, he does weird things at the discussion table, man, I don't know. I think it's cool, but, like, is he ready to commit to – he ain't committing to come back to be an all-night character. I would assume he's committed to being, like, a booker or maybe like, you know what I'm saying, maybe even, like, an announcer or something like that, but I couldn't see him being a wrestler. Not 100% wrestler, not anymore. Not for Vince.
Right.
AEW is a different situation. But I mean, it's cool.
Anything else before we go?
No, man. I know we didn't touch a little base on Major League Baseball
or the Colts.
But,
let's talk Colts, man. We got some time. Let's go over a little bit. Let's go over about another 10 minutes. So let's talk Colts NFL draft that's tomorrow night. And another thing, people have asked, are we going to go do a Facebook Live after the Colts pick or during the Colts pick?
I cannot necessarily commit to that because I got to work a little bit longer tomorrow.
What about afterwards for like 10 minutes at some point?
Yeah, after for sure.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. So there you hear that. We'll do something afterwards. After the pick, me and John will do a quick 10, 15-minute review about it. But, John, let's talk Colts. We heard what Danny said earlier. Pick 4. Mm-hmm. We've heard Levitz. We've heard C.J. Stroud with this S2 test or whatever that came out of the blue. Like, what the hell? But Anthony Richards, where are the Colts going to go? My goodness. There's so many choices. The odds have shifted so much over the last 48 to 72 hours.
Yeah, I started looking at some tape, some workout tape leaked on the internet of Will Levis, and it's kind of like Jamarcus Russell. He can throw from both sitting down all the way down the field. He's kind of like a workout warrior. He looks the part. He looks like you cut him out of stoop quarterback, 6 foot plus, you know what I'm saying, chisel, arms look like, boom, big, naturally big than Hulk Hogan. Sounds similar for you other people, you know what I'm saying? But he looks the part. But, like, the body of work isn't there and the reps aren't there from, like, even, like, the minor league, like, with the SEC. That's what we consider the NCAA, a minor league, right? And we know when injured, like, you know what I'm saying, like, what does that look like? There's no doubt the Colts are going to pick a quarterback. Will Levis, I heard, you know what I'm saying, I don't think he goes number 1. I think he might, he won't, crazy as that sound, man. He'll be number 2. Will Levis? That's real thirsty, man. But, yeah, real thirsty and wild. And Will Levis, remember last year? Dude, that's crazy. Last year, they were thinking about, like, Kenny Pickett. We don't know. I don't think he could be Big 25. Like, people were saying that. And then the Steelers picked, you know what I'm saying, moved heaven and moved a little bit of pieces to move up to get him. And now where they go? And there was so much doubt on that. And, like, now the same guys are saying Will Levis is that guy. I don't know, Brandon. I know what I saw out of Will Levis the last couple of seasons in Kentucky. The last year he was injured, and yeah, different OC. I get it. Different also cast of characters around him because some of those guys graduated and went on to the NFL. And he built him from his junior season, and it wasn't the same. Okay, right. That kind of gives me a red flag. That right there kind of gives me a red flag, even though he does look the part. That's what I've been saying, Brandon. You know, like he might look the part, he might do these frequently athletic things, but like, do you have to really stretch for that at 2 or 4? You know what I'm saying? Or make a deal? Who would make a deal? I'm not making no deal for no project for Arizona. Why would I send all my draft picks to Arizona?
I'm not trading up for Will Levis. I'm sorry.
Or Anthony Richardson, right? So whatever falls to the coach, they should invest in it for the first year. I'm to be honest with you. Invest in it. You don't have to lose your mind. Guess what? The Jets invested in Zach Wilson. Jonathan Bergeron scouting reports from last year was wrong, and Zach Wilson just doesn't have it just yet. I don't know, but they didn't trade him in the Aaron Rodgers trade. But they got to get a quarterback, and if it doesn't work out, just draft another one next year. That's what I'm saying, Brandon, right now. Book that one. Draft a quarterback this year, and if it doesn't work out, draft another one next year.
Okay. Perfect. Well, we will be we'll go live at some point for like 10 minutes or so tomorrow night after the Colts have made their pick, and we'll talk that, recap it. Thank our sponsors, Scott K. Nichols, State Farm Insurance, Maverick Custom Motorsports, and as well as Wiseman Logistics. John, anything else before we roll?
Man, I don't know what's going on with your Reds, man. Pittsburgh Pirates, man. I think they first in the Central right now.
Yeah, Reds just swept the series against the Texas Rangers. Somehow they won 3 straight.
Well, see, last week we had Coach Fleck on you talking bad on him, man.
Yep, that was.
And you know what I'm saying. And now look at that. They didn't find somebody they can beat, man. No, man. It's great to catch up with Danny Bridges. Always downloading with him and all his knowledge about racing. Brandon Reef, you're absolutely right. We'll get Danny back on as the Indianapolis 500 and Dennis Coaster. I think what is the race day? At May 28th.
Yeah.
I think that's the official race date, right? So yeah, we'll have Danny on here real soon. I was gonna say thanks, man. I thought Mike Kelly. I was stalled for time, man. You know what I'm saying? We get Mike Kelly to call back in, man. But hey, we'll get to Mike Kelly another time. After all that, man, we had a great, you know what I'm saying, call with D-Kyle as well, man. And dude, how can we do it all again? We'll try to do it bigger, better than ever next week again. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show. You can find more episodes on iTunes and the